Although marathoning a series is one of my favorite things to do, with new series constantly being added to my TBR, I have a bit of a problem with far too many series that I am currently in the middle of. At the start of this episode, there is 48 to be exact, and in today's episode, I'll be using a spinner wheel filled with series that I only have one book left of, either a final book in the series or just one left to get caught up with publishing, and hopefully you and me together can get my list of series all the way down. Honestly, looking back on all the episodes in this, we have made a good indent. This is our 5th episode, I believe. We started off with what? Wasn't it like 80 series or something like that? So I have definitely made really good progress, and I would like to continue making good progress. You can start right here on this episode, even though it's like a series. They don't really have anything to do with each other besides the fact that my number is continually going down, and it's the same concept with different themes every single time. But if you want to go back and watch them all, I will leave the playlist link down below in the description for you. I'm excited for today's episode because of what it is. It should be all these books that I'm really, really excited about. Without waiting, let's get right on into this vlog and you guys can see my first little spin. Theoretically, we shouldn't have too many DNFs in this episode because I'm reading final books or the final book to get me up to date, and that hopefully means that all of these books are ones that I am actively excited for and have been wanting to read, and there's a reason they're still on this list as a final book. Technically, duologies might not make this cut and might be unsure because there are a lot of times where I don't like a sequel of a book, but I typically like the third book if I made it past 1 and 2, if that makes sense. But then this book came up when I did this spin. We currently have 16 final books that I could read, which will help get my series list down. We also have, don't at my Christmas tree, we have Miley supervising us, right Miley? To make sure we don't cheat. Okay, let's do a spin. I am kind of nervous. There's a lot of things I don't want. And I'm burnt out, so I might veto things. Which then why make a wheel? I do not know. No. No. Ah! Okay. I have the audiobook for this at least. Okay. Okay. And I was nervous because this is a continuation in From Blood and Ash, but it's also a revisit to From Blood and Ash. This is essentially From Blood and Ash told by Castiel's perspective, but it's also unavoidable. Like, it's kind of annoying because JLA made it so that there are tidbits of new information because we flip between past and present in this. So you do have to read this, I think. I was nervous this was going to be the point of the series where I decided to DNF because I don't typically like reading the same book just from a male's POV. However, I think I'm on like chapter 18 or something. I don't know. I'm not super far in. I would probably say I'm like 15 to 20% in. Oh, let me just scoot over and then you can see her. How am I supposed to talk when she looks so cute? Oh my god, what is my hair doing? I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it. But I did get decently far into this one and I am really enjoying it. I think because I haven't read From Blood and Ash in so long. Like, what did I say, 4 or 5 years? And I loved book 1 so much that this is kind of refreshing to me to relearn the story. I was thinking about a reread and now I don't feel like I have to reread because I'm getting that through this new POV on it. And it just feels like really engaging and refreshing for me. But I think that if I had not read these so far apart, I wouldn't feel that way. And if my love of From Blood and Ash wasn't so strong, like, I loved that story quite a bit when it came out. And so, like, I'm happy to revisit it, which is really weird. I was not expecting that. So far, I'm vibing really hard for this one. I just, like, listened to the audiobook and colored. I finished coloring the page that I started in the last weekly vlog for Realmathon while I listened, and it's like a little Japan. So I'm probably gonna color again and listen to more. However, I also did another spin because I did need a physical book to read at nighttime, as that's something I like to do. I like to read before bed and in the morning. And so last night I just did a spin on my phone, which you can see here, which landed us on Ash and Feather, which is the completion of this duology, which is actually kind of good because the sequel, which is actually good because this was just announced for a special edition that matches the Flame and Sparrow edition that I have and I really love. So I did actually need to read this to decide if I wanted that. I'm about 80 pages into this one, so I'm really not far because it's a long book. I don't know how I feel about it. I remember just loving the characters in the latter half of Flame and Sparrow so much, and that's what led me to really enjoy this book. But like, the world building was a little bit murky and the pacing, I remember the pacing being a drag. I remember thinking I was gonna DNF in the first 40% so many times times, but I just wanted to hold out until I met the love interest, and when I did, I really loved him, and he carried the book for me, and his friends carried the book for me. I still love the god of like ice. I love him so much. But this is starting very slow, and sometimes after I remember a huge cliffhanger happening, I hate the lull of the beginning of a second book. I think there needs to be a balance. There needs to be something very intriguing or something happening that balanced out the fact that you left me on that cliffhanger. And I just feel like we got to regular old days really quickly in this one. And it's just like slow and steady now, and there wasn't like conflict due to the cliffhanger. There is conflict, but it's just like taking a while to get to it. It feels very slow for me. In Flame and Sparrow, we're following our main character who blames the gods for the death of her sister, and she wants to get revenge. She is of elven kind, and the elvens versus the gods are a pretty big conflict happening. And in order to get the revenge that she wants, she ends up making a deal with the fire god himself in order to get to the inside and take him down from the inside. However, when she gets to the heavenly plane, like the place where all the gods are, their realm, she realizes that she has been misled a few times and that not all is as it seems there. And I do like that. I love the idea of these meddling gods. I like the war that's happening. I like her conversation on how she doesn't fit anywhere. I think that that's really well done because she's not elven enough and she's not god enough and things like that. We're about to see her become something else, which I really enjoy. I like her transformation. I do truly like the character growth she has gone through, and that leads me to continue in this series. And I love their banter. I really do love the two of them together, but they're kind of not doing that right now, so I'm unsure. I feel like it's not going to be as good as the first book, but also I tend to hate ending books. Not hate them, because I still love them, but like I'm bitter that it's ending, and so I never like them as much. I don't know what I'm saying, but those are my two picks currently for reading. Could we just make this a really long clip? Probably, because I also got my Fairy Loot edition of Firebird. Look at this. Ready? That looks so pretty. I actually like, oh my god, that inner artwork, this is stunning. I really hope I like this. Like, look, and like this edge, that is stunning. That's so stunning. But I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous about this one, but I'm hopeful that I will like it. So I did get this. That's all. Just wanted to show off this edition. I actually haven't read anything else because I ended up going for lunch with my sister. We ended up getting crab. We went for like a little seafood boil, which is like our go-to lunch together these days because we both love it so much. And no one else around us loves it the way that we do and wants to go get it constantly with us. So we just do it, the two of us. But then she had to go to Costco and I said I'd go with her. And I never get to go to Costco because I don't have a Costco membership. And also, why would I want to go to Costco most of the time? We went at like 1 o'clock on a Tuesday. It was actually pretty dead and we went to like the farther one. We definitely drove to get to a farther one. And while I was there, I was like, I'm gonna get all the snacks that I'm always missing out on. And I figured I would show you guys the snacks because I feel like I've talked about a few of them a few times. And some of you have tagged me saying that you've gotten them. So the first one that I have for sure talked about before is the Brookside acai berries. These are dark chocolate, and personally, I'm not a big dark chocolate fan, but the acai berry in them with the dark chocolate is just like the perfect blend. Like, you don't get the bitterness that I feel like you can get from dark chocolate. So I love these, and they're like the perfect size for just like a quick little snack every once in a while, especially when I get a chocolate craving. The other thing I've had before, but I don't think I've talked about on the vlog, is the True Fruits. These are chocolate covered strawberries, but they're frozen and you just like thaw them when you want to eat a couple. These hit when you're craving a chocolate covered strawberry. Like, they definitely do hit quite well. Not as good as like going out and buying chocolate covered strawberries, but I'm too lazy to make them at home, and this is my favorite thing in the entire world. Like, I love chocolate covered strawberries. Don't buy me flowers, buy me chocolate covered strawberries, or apparently just chocolate covered fruit. I love chocolate covered fruit, which leads me to my next purchase. This is a new one for me that I hadn't tried, and it is these dark chocolate covered mangoes. Sadly, I didn't love this one when I tried it in the car. I think I'm gonna try another one. I just think that the ratio between chocolate and mango was off. I'll just try one. Why not? So like, they are really thin, and I kind of just wish the mango itself was thicker because there was too much chocolate to mango, and then since it is dark chocolate, I did taste the bitterness. Okay, I don't know if you can see. You can like barely see the mango in there, and I wish the mango was thicker. They aren't awful. I will eat them, but these were cheaper and I like them better, so I think I would prefer these over these ones. The last thing I got, which is also new to me, are these s'more clusters. I'm a fan of these. I'm really a fan of these. It's milk chocolate, kettle cooked caramel, and grams and marshmallows. I am allergic to nuts, and there's those like almond clusters that I feel like I see everywhere. Those look delicious and I can't eat them, and so I've been very jealous. But these are similar, not the same. My sister said she liked the almond clusters better still, which like fair, those look absolutely delicious. But she said these were decent, and since I can't eat them, I thought these were incredible. They do miss a little bit. I wish the graham cracker was just a little bit crispier, but overall, delicious. They are quite big, which is good because it means I can't eat a whole bag in one sitting because they're very rich. But like that's a whole cluster. Deliciousness. Those are your snacks with Cassidy. Get these for sure. So good. I read a bunch more of Ash and Feather last night. I got to page 200. I think I'm 30% in now. I think that this pacing is just a little bit slow for me. I'm struggling a little bit. I really like the characters and the vibe, and I love the expansion of the world building in this, but I do just want the plot to pick up. There's a point probably around 150 pages where I was like, oh, we're getting it. We're getting good plot. I'm really excited where this is going. And then it's like maybe 2 chapters long, and I was disappointed because we were back to a slow pacing after that of her just trying to figure out her magic. And I understand why we're getting that, but I just wish there was more plot intermingled into those moments. It's very much her character journey and her self-growth and her letting go of things that have been traumatic to her, and it's a beautiful conversation. I just want more of the overall plot of this like entwined into that part of the story. So that's something I have mostly been struggling with. Also, I was walking last night on my walking pad. I'm supposed to do 12 minutes every day this month. I have not, but I'm supposed to. But last night I walked and I was listening to Old School Maroon 5 and I had an epiphany. I was listening to Misery. I love Old School Maroon 5 first off. And I was like, this is why I can't like contemporary romance the same way I love romantasy, because I like pain. So I was listening to the song and I was like, I love what this song is and I want to read more of what this song is. And in romantasy, they're never fully happy. There's always something going down. The world is always burning around them until the very end. And in contemporary romance, there's so many lulls of just like happiness. And I'm like, I don't care if you're happy. I want you to be happy while also trying to sleep for like maybe 3 hours because you got to get up and fight for the war the next day. And I don't know what that says about me as a person, that I want pain constantly. I just want to feel something. And happiness is not an emotion I like to feel, apparently. I don't know. Do you ever go to update the vlog and then you actually realize how close you are to finishing a book and you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize I was that close to finishing this? I don't know if I like that. So I have made a really big dent into Ash and Feather. I'm on page 391. So this is all I have left, which is roughly about 100 pages. I don't think I feel stressed or intense enough about what this ending is going to be for there to be only 100 pages left of a duology. I feel like this is wrapping up too neatly for me. I was thinking about it as I read it, and I feel like something that this book is really missing for me is people to root for on the other side. When I think of books like The Hunger Games, where there's rebellions, like we're thinking revolution books, rebellion books, there are always people on the bad side that I truly come to love and care about because they love and care about our protagonist and they end up choosing the right side. And in this book, there are 2 cases I think of the author trying to do that, but neither really hits home for me because I feel like we see why our main character loves them, but I don't really get to see why they love our main character and why they would switch sides. So I'm struggling a little bit with that aspect of this. And I just feel like the pacing was off for me. It was a very slow journey of self-awareness and self-healing, which I think is done very, very well. I just wish that the plot was more interconnected in terms of a quicker paced and more stake than that, with that also involved into it. Yeah, so I have 100 pages left to go. I'll finish this today, hopefully. That is my goal. I am sitting down to drink my coffee. I laid in bed a little bit later than usual and I read some of this morning, and now I'm gonna watch the newest episode of Survivor. I am back to watching Survivor for the very first time in a long time. I watched a long time ago. Like, I've seen like Boston Rob seasons, but I have not watched in like many years. But my sister was like, you have to watch, and then Lexi and Nikki wanted to watch as well, so we're all watching this new season. My sister loves Survivor, so she's very excited that there's someone to talk about because she's like, very few people watch this with me. I've heard that this episode is going to make me cry. I heard that Jeff cries in it, and Jeff doesn't cry very often, so I think it's going to be a little heartbreaking, but I'm excited to just take that in this morning. Yesterday, I actually colored a lot, which is hilarious because I did not listen to an audiobook while I colored. I actually caught up on Southern Hospitality. I've been really behind on TV. My Phasmophobia addiction has really just been chasing away all my other hobbies, but I caught up on Southern Hospitality, and that was wild. That is a show that I think is in the making to be one of the next biggest reality shows. Like, I think it's having its moment right now. I did this page of Australia, which, like, Australia would never look like this. I don't really think Australia gets, like, their leaves changing, but I just liked the vibe quite a bit. I enjoy this one, but it's not my favorite. The other page I did yesterday, this is one of my favorite pages I've ever done. Look at this. This is stunning to me. I love the vibe so much. I love when my books have coloring checklists like this. I need more books with this. So far, I have one from VV Tinta that has one, and then the berry coloring book that is this one, and then I think my Hoodrafolk Mountain Village also has one. I love that I can just, like, I've been checking off like a little white dot every time I finished a page. It makes me very happy. So that's what I did yesterday. Today, we're hoping to finish at least a book. I would like to finish one book and spin again for another book today, but we're gonna watch Survivor first. My whole hair is a mess because I have been lounging on the couch all day and I didn't feel like fixing it, but I did finish Ashen Feather. I'm giving this book 3 stars. A lot happens at that ending. I struggled with this book. I enjoyed it, but I still struggled with it. I think it's kind of anticlimactic. I feel like there's no, like, upwards part of this story. You know how when you are doing the story act for something like this and you're breaking it down and there's, like, the rising action and then the climax of the book? I never felt like I got those. I feel like we went up and down quite often in this book. There was never a point for me where the tension was just going up and up and up, and then we hit this, like, explosive part. It was like up and down, up and down, up and down, which doesn't work for me in storytelling. I prefer that really, really tense narrative. The other thing that maybe makes me feel that way is the war in the story is between the humans and the elves, and we are following the gods in this, and I feel like there is no stake for the gods in this. I'm not worried about the gods. Not a single part of me is ever worried for them because it is between the humans and the elves, and, like, there are parts that will hurt the gods, but I feel like that really takes a backward step in this one, and I just don't think I had any stake in the war. I didn't really care which side won because there were no stakes in it. And I think the author tries to do that with these 2 characters that matter to our main characters, but I never really fully cared. And because they're also on opposite sides, I still didn't have any stakes for who I wanted to win or how I wanted it to get resolved, really. So I think that's the real struggle. I think that this is about the meddling gods, but the gods kind of take a back seat in the actual conflict of the story. I do think that most of the story is about her character. It's about her character growth, her character journey, her overcoming her past and her trauma and things like that, and just, like, healing herself, which I think is beautiful. But I wanted the conflict there more, which I feel like I've said a million times. This does get our series number down, though, because this is a completed duology now, so I don't know what number we're at, but I'll pop it on the screen here. And it also means that we can do another spin because I will need another physical book. I'm still not done Soul of Ash and Blood. Infernium. This could be a DNF. Interesting. There is chances that this is a DNF because I'm not sure that I needed a continuation from the first book, but it's a long boy and I'm willing to try it because I need to figure out if I want to keep reading it or not. So I didn't want to just, like, automatically decide I didn't want to read this, even though I didn't feel like I needed that continuation. But I'm not expecting this to go over. I'm expecting to DNF this, but I still wanted to give it a shot. I realized I forgot to update you on my points for Realmathon with Ashen Feather. Realmathon is my month-long readathon that I host every single year in March. It's got 4 teams that are competing against each other, and this week is, like, a weekly reading vlog for that. So I wanted to update my points as well, but since we're also doing reader DNF, it's kind of hard to find a balance. So I'm just going to tell you the points I got, I think, and not really go through exactly how I got them. For Ashen Feather, I'm defending, and I got 72 points for my team on this one. And then And I have to update you on Infernium because I did start that. I got 2 chapters in and I decided I really didn't care and I'm deciding to DNF that one. I knew that this was probably going to be the case, especially after Tori read it and didn't love it. She ended up DNFing book 2 as well. I don't really care about what's going on in it, and the first chapter I really didn't care about, and so both of those things together, like nothing piqued my interest again. I think I'd rather just like bless and release this series, which puts us down to, hold on, I have the total this time. We're down to 46 currently read series, which is fun, and I did another spin, and the spinning gods were nice to me. They really liked me, and they gave me Sunrise on the Reaping, which I'm so excited to read. I actually started this morning and I'm already 30% in. I am flying through this. I am a Hunger Games lover. I have loved the films, I've loved the books, but I haven't read the books in a long time since I don't really reread. I did read The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes when it came out. I didn't love that one. Personally, that one was a miss for me. I still liked the movie, but the book was kind of boring. But I'd been hearing really good things about Sunrise on the Reaping, and so far it's hitting for me. I love Haymitch. I love Haymitch as a character, and I think as we meet all the characters in this one, my heart is breaking because I know who Haymitch is in 25 years when The Hunger Games happens, because obviously this is a prequel, and it's not a spoiler to say that. I don't care who you are. It is not a spoiler to talk about Haymitch as we know him in the Hunger Games book. And as we meet these characters, I'm putting these threads together or knowing how this could end up because of who he is. I'm loving seeing a lot of the points of some of the other books, specifically the second Hunger Games book. I'm seeing how we got there with a lot of the characters we're starting to meet, and I do enjoy that. I like seeing how the capital has changed, how the Hunger Games have changed in order to blindly get these districts to behave. It's insane. The story that is happening right now in this book is so insane. It hits really hard with what's happening in our world right now. The state of banning books we're in, banning knowledge, miscommunication, like propaganda is a big thing happening. It happens at all times, but it is majorly happening right now in our world, and Suzanne Collins is not shy about her political views in this story, and it is extra heartbreaking to read at this point in time, I think. I'm enthralled in the story and interested to see how Haymitch becomes who he is. I can understand already how he is who he is. I also think that there are things that I didn't notice. I didn't realize that the first Quarter Quell and the second Quarter Quell had the same thing that happened in them, which means that President Snow really changed them for that third Quarter Quell because of how much he needed Katniss to go bye-bye. So like seeing things like that really impact also my version of books I've already read, and I think that reading all of these in order one day would be an incredible experience. Watching the movies in order. I am a fan of like reading in the order they came out, but I also think it can be a different experience when you read something in the order that they go in time, and I do think reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and then this one and then The Hunger Games would impact a lot and would have other connections that you would find, which I do enjoy. I'm very excited to continue this book. I love these books. I think that they are heartbreaking. I think that they are political. I think that they have great messages and terrible messages all at once. And that books like this can teach people things that sometimes they miss in real life. I'm just having a great time reading this. That sounds bad because it's like a heartbreaking book, and like what it's discussing is absolutely heartbreaking. Suzanne Collins' brain is a masterpiece. How she can get feelings and politics all in this page together and make you really care and make you really feel is something I would study for hours and hours and hours. Good morning. It is the last day of Ramadan and I cannot believe that, but I slacked off and I read the entire Sunrise on the Reaping in one day and have not updated you about it, so I probably should do that. I'm giving this book 5 stars. Honestly, I wasn't sure it was going to be a 5-star when reading. Even when I finished it, I felt 4 stars just because I was seeing review after review of people like crying and saying that this is the brutalest and I've never been more devastated. And I didn't feel those feelings, but as I sat with my thoughts afterwards, I realized why, and I think that I just had a different emotional reaction to this story than a lot of other people did. Obviously because this is a prequel, we know how the story ends. As we were introduced to characters, I knew exactly what is going to happen in this book. So I personally could not find myself as invested into that part of the story. Instead, it just made me angry. I got frustrated at not the book itself, but like the story. Like I love the story and I love that it did this to me, but the injustices of the story, which I think is a really real emotion to have. These kids are frustrated about what they're going through. They're really unjustly thrown into the Hunger Games year after year for just trying to survive. I mean, they have to get more, they put their name into the Reaping More just to have food for their family. And so it is such an unjust system. It is so unfair. And every time something happened, it just made me angry at society. And then it also made me angry that our real world society is so fucking close to this right now. This is like we are letting someone control our rights and our freedoms right now. Someone who would easily put us into this position, who would put kids in a Hunger Games for the fact that it keeps people in their control. Fear is a great element of control. Have people fear you, have people uneducated, have people, like, literally the mirrorisms to what is happening in our world is insane. And Suzanne Collins is such a magnificent writer for doing that. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. After the book hit, I cried. I cried talking to my mom about it and just like telling her how beautifully this was done, how much people need to hear the story, how much people need to understand this. There's a reason she wrote this. And then also all the connections to the other Hunger Games and what has been so well plotted, in my opinion. She truly, the threads are all there, and finding them was incredible. Knowing how someone becomes someone later on hurt. There was a lot of hurt in this book. I understand that. It made me angry, and that's how I kind of often express my hurt. I get angry in situations, so that's why I wasn't like devastated afterwards. But as I just like processed all these thoughts, like it was a lot to take in. I realized this was a 5-star read for me and that this book was absolutely incredible. I still have complaints about it, but there's also so many things that I love more, and I don't think having complaints about a book automatically makes it lesser. I like to talk things through. I like to talk my feelings out. I think that there are many things that I love in life that I still have criticism for. And I think that this was well done, but I still, for my personal enjoyment, there was things I personally would have changed. But also, I still fucking loved it. So there's that. So yeah, if you have not picked this one up, please do. I personally didn't love The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That was a low 3 for me. I did like the movie though, but Sunrise on the Reaping hit it out of the park for me. There's a lot that I'm still taking in on this story. I did defend the team with it. I've been too out of it to do emoji polls constantly. Ended up getting 48 points for my team with this one. And then it is the last day and I'm being Delulu, but I did decide to spin for another book. So here are my spins. I think we're gonna rig a little bit. I think I have time for one more book if it's a short book. So if it lands on a big boy, we are going to respin. Where's my mouse? Oh my god, I lost it. Okay. I think that this is short. Let me check, but I think that we can make this work. I really wanted As Good as Dead, though. Not gonna lie. I really wanted that. I lied to you guys. It's 450 pages, so not short enough. So let's try once more. Aren't any of these short? House of Secrets would be short. I think As Good as Dead is short. The Mist Thief, Shadow So Cruel, maybe. I did not rig that. I did not rig that. It's funny because after doing this, I realized that I respun and got a book that I think is exactly the same size of the book. However, I'm more excited to read this book, and I remember when I read the first book, I read it so quickly. So I think that'll really work for me considering I only have a day left to read this. And also, I still have to finish From Blood and Ash, which I still want to do. It's just been a background book. And technically with Realmathon, if you don't know, my ruling is always that you still have a couple days to finish books. I don't want people to just like drop books at the end. I don't think that that's fair. So I have 48 hours after Realmathon ends for people to submit their submissions. If you are a decent way through your book before Realmathon ends, like 100 pages, whatever it is. It's different for who reads what is a decent way through a book in my opinion. If you can finish that before the end of submissions, you can still count the full book. Otherwise, you can also just count a book like a DNF, which would be 50% or 200 pages, and then you just count what you read in that month. So there are 2 options, and so I probably won't get done both of these today, but I'll be done them tomorrow at the latest, and I will be a good way through through both of them considering I have all day sprints today. So that's exciting for me. I am intrigued. I have not made a lot of progress on From Blood and Ash, but it's just kind of been a background book. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it because of what it is, but I have enjoyed it. I do want to do some coloring tonight, so I'm hoping to listen and color unless I get completely sucked into the sequel, which I'm 3 chapters in right now and really enjoying it. I'm very excited to be back in this dark fantasy. Literally, of course, the second I'm like, I'm gonna film a clip, my furnace turns on and it's pretty loud right above me. So good luck to me. I've made it 30% into this book, and personally I'm vibing just as much as I did in the first book. It's such an easy read for me. I find it very engaging. I like the world building. I never expected this to be what it was. I always thought it was going to be this paranormal Raven Shifter romance in our world, but it's a complete fantasy world. This is a dark romance story. It is dark. Like, I don't think it's for everyone. There is a lot of trauma, sexual assault. There is essentially some dubious consent in this, some non-con. I like the aspect of what it's saying about who we are as people. I like the discussion it's having. I enjoy dark romance. Not everyone does. It's not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend this to literally everyone. I like it. I really like the dynamic between our female character and the 2 love interests. There are 2 males. It's not a love triangle. They are both with her and have their part in their romance. I like their dynamic. It kind of feels like good cop, bad cop, which I really enjoy. And I don't know, I just have a lot of fun with this one. I like to see how the world building is going to progress the entire time. Miley, you are so distracting. Come here. Hi. Oh, I love seeing just like how this world is going to progress. There's a lot of politics in this story. There is a lot of creativeness to this world. It's like the humans versus the Raven Shifters. The humans rule this world and there's a war with the Raven Shifters. In the first book, the Ravens take our main female character and hold her as a hostage against the king because she is the king's daughter. But what they don't know is that the king might not be so eager to get her back. And then things spiral from there. There's a lot of prophecy in this. I really have been enjoying this quite a bit. I'm excited to continue. I'm excited to finish it today. I'm so sorry if you can hear the cat water dish. I need to fill it up with water after this. Also, Theo is eating literally right behind me. It's always chaos with them. It's Wednesday, so I have until tonight to submit the last of my Ramathon books. I don't know if I'm going to be finishing From Blood and Ash before then, so I might just count it as a DNF for Ramathon. However, I did finish the last book in the Feather So Vicious duology, the Court of Ravens duology. So we are down a series again. I think that puts us at 44 currently read series. I'll have the number on the screen for you. I actually really enjoyed this final book since it is a duology. I'm giving it 4 stars. I did debate a 5-star for a while. This book does exactly what it's set out to be, in my opinion. This story follows 3 characters who get into a relationship, and their relationship together helps heal the trauma of their past. It does not fix it. There's no fixing trauma in our lives. There's just healing that can be done, and not all healing is linear. Healing can take time. Healing does not look the same pace for every person, and I think that this story grasped those concepts so well. We watched characters go backwards in their healing. We watched characters go forward in their healing. This book is a dark romance that centers on trauma and healing. There are things that I was revolted by in the story, both by the villains and by our quote-unquote heroes. So I know this won't work for everyone. Not everyone wants to see their hero, their protagonist, be seen in a less than flattering light, and this story definitely does that. With our male POV, for sure, we see things that will make a lot of people really dislike him. For me, I just loved to see this journey that he went on. I thought it was really inspiring to watch his healing, and heartbreaking at the same time to watch what he's been through and how that will affect him for the rest of his life, even through the healing that he's done. It's heartbreaking to understand also that this was our society at some point. I think that that's something people forget when reading these. Yes, this is a romance story and it's also fantastical, and it's not necessarily like our present day world, but at some point humans acted like this. Honestly, we still do. I actually just watched, apparently I've been in a very like, this hit me harder, I want to be crying constantly phase of my life, because because we watched the documentary on, oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. I'm so bad at names. The girl in the States that goes missing and she's found dead. There's a documentary on her, and the stats at the end that talk about how in the United States, 50% of women will encounter abuse from their partner in today's age. This documentary was released this year, is disgusting. This quote I'm not 100% certain on, but I believe it's 1 in 4 women in North America have sexual abuse. That means you walk to the grocery store and most of those women have been affected by something like this. That's disgusting. Like, our society still has these things, although cats to break up a thing. I don't even know where I was going with this anymore, but I just wanted to say, like, this book mirrors so much of things that actually happen to people. We lived in a world where women were owned by men and men could do whatever the fuck they wanted to women, and we are still moving past that world. And the thing is, in the story, it is a man that a lot of this is happening to. I just can relate more with the women facts. I don't know all the men facts, but it still happens to men. It's still a thing. The words they call him, the things that are happening, they are all still present in our actual society. And I think that when you think about that makes this book really hit hard. I thoroughly enjoyed this book for what it is. Enjoyment is obviously a weird term to use when you're talking about a book that hits this deep, but there are also moments of happiness and giggling throughout this book, in my opinion. There are moments which is so real to real life, like, they weren't letting their trauma affect every aspect of their life. They were healing through it and also having good moments and stuff. And I think that was a really well written story, in my opinion. So I'm giving it 4 stars. My literal lack of another star is that I do wish there had been a little bit more plot wound into this for my personal enjoyment. The story is about their healing and stuff like that. So the plot, I feel like, gets resolved a little too quickly in this book. So that's why I didn't get a 5 star for me for reading wise. But I can't recommend this to everyone because it's so dark. But if you think you could enjoy something like this, I would try it. There's a lot of graphic scenes in this for sure. The author does not shy away from using the real words for things too. She does not shy away from saying what is happening. She does not make it flowery, anything like that. So I did really, really enjoy that. There are also really pretty special editions that I now need to decide whether I'm getting or not. Oh, I also bawled like a baby at the end of this. Bawled like a baby for about 7 chapters. Yeah, most of this just made me angry, but the last ending, oh, I bawled. I don't remember how many points I got for Ramathon with it. I'm not gonna lie. So we're just gonna move on. I'm hoping that I can make progress in From Blood and Ash tonight so that I could submit it for Ramathon. But if not, I'm still gonna talk about it in this video because this video does not need to go up before Ramathon ends anymore, since I shared the hint in Discord instead. I feel like I've been utterly failing at vlogging and I have so much to update you guys on. I lost the plot. I definitely lost the plot yesterday, but not intentionally. Well, when do you ever lose the plot intentionally? Not because of something I did necessarily. So Ramathon is over and I'm not done From Blood and Ash yet. I'm going to finish that book and that will be the end of this vlog. However, I started another book. And it's not a wheel pick or even a final book of some sort. Yesterday, I'm just minding my own business. It's going to be an audiobook day. I need redemption after the scary Care Bear picture that I colored. I was like, I'm a color. We're gonna listen to From Blood and Ash. It's going to be great. It doesn't look as bad now that I'm looking at it in new eyes, but like, it's kind of creepy. I had to draw the eyes on them and it's kind of creepy, but I needed redemption. So I was like, I'm gonna color all day. The world thought different of me and we had our power go out for like 5 hours yesterday. Not only our power though, also our like cell phone internet. So obviously like a really big tower was taken out somewhere. I couldn't listen to my audiobook because I didn't have it saved to my phone. So I also can't color because I color in my bedroom and it's very dark in there because it's a basement bedroom. So I was like, okay, I need to switch this up. I literally have 1 audiobook saved onto my phone right now. It's a series, so that worked really well, but we're reading the 3rd book in the Captive of Wolves series. I'm probably halfway through. I got a good amount done yesterday. I decided to work on a puzzle while I listened to it, so that was fun. I'm going to work on the puzzle again today, and I think I'm gonna finish Captive of Wolves and then move back to From Blood and Ash just because Captive of Wolves is still fresh in my brain and it's been a while since I listened to From Blood and Ash. That's nothing to do with the book though. I've just actually not been in an audiobook mood. I've been really physically reading more in my bed. I've been reading the Kindle in my bed. But Captive of Wolves is going really well. This is the 3rd book. It is a 9 book long series, so it's not finishing anything off for me, but it does finish the first arc in the 9 books. Each 3 books kind of has its own arc, and I'm excited because I know in the next arc we have another man come into our wide choose another shifter. This is just following some werewolf shifters who there is a female that they rescue from a pack of other wolves and end up also keeping her prisoner, but a lot better, and it's because there's something in her blood that can save a curse put on them. I just think that this is fun. It's an easy read. That's how I feel about all Eva Chase. They're nothing like too deep or like detail orientated, but they're fun and they're easy, and I really enjoy the characters. It makes it such an easy and quick listen and a fast listen and an enjoyable listen while I do other things. So I'm gonna try and finish my puzzle today, or at least get a good indent in it. I might switch to coloring at some point because I am excited to color more pages. This one is fairy tale inspired. I want to do more things like the Care Bear one, even though it didn't turn out. I think it's a lot of fun to have like inspiration. Let me find my Alice in Wonderland page because that one is one of my favorites, and I think it pushed me outside of my comfort zone, same with the Care Bear one, to really color. This is one of my favorite pages. It's Alice in Wonderland inspired. This page is Alice in Wonderland themed. So if you have any concepts for that, I would love to know. There is like a Cinderella page, but like I want to make it like kind of fun and unique, and I don't really know how. I was thinking maybe like, I don't know what I was thinking actually. Don't listen to my brain. So if you have any thoughts on them, on things that we could do, let me know, because I like to be inspired and I think that's fun. Okay, I did finish the next Captive Wolves book. I am giving this one 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think that this series is just fun. This does not help me catch up with any series because it is 9 books long, but it did progress it, which is always the point of these videos, so I'm okay with putting those into these videos. Obviously, this one was themed around final books, so I just got distracted with our power outage. Today, I have to finish the From Blood and Ash video. I haven't posted a video in so long. Truly, burnout really got me, and I'm struggling. So I hope that you all can understand why it's been so long before this video has come out, because I just haven't wanted to read, and I personally feel like my only way through burnout is to give myself a break. That is what I did. I let myself take not only a reading break, but also a bit of a content creation break, because I feel like I was really feeling suffocated with that as well. Suffocated feels dramatic, but I'm also dramatic. So I finished Captive Wolves. I really did like it. We can talk a little bit about it while I make myself a craft lemonade. I saw someone on TikTok make these and share her recipe, and I love like a fair lemonade. I guess not a craft lemonade, a fair lemonade. I love going to like K-Days or Stampede or everything every single year, and I always have to get a lemonade. They're disgusting for you. There's way too much sugar in them, but I'm tired and I'm proud of myself for trying to get this video out. So I'm going to treat myself with a disgustingly sugary lemonade, and we're gonna see if this recipe even works. So first off, you need like a container that's kind of like big, like the lemonades are at the fair. So I'm just using this like to-go container that we recycle anyways. It says a large lemon. I don't know what counts as a large lemon. And we are going to just cut it into 6 pieces and drop those into our little bucket. I'm honestly just gonna pick out the seeds right now because I don't need seeds in my lemonade. For Captive of Wolves, I just like kind of enjoy the characters, and I feel like it's a really easy listen. I don't really think Eva Chase writes the most dense stuff. Like I feel like her books for me are, sorry, I'm taking out the seeds of these. Just like really quick listens, something enjoyable that like I don't need to spend all day trying to figure out exactly where everything is going or feel emotionally devastated at all times because I don't know what's happening to my characters. So I just like have a lot of fun reading them, and they are just like a why choose. I see a seed in there, like a really deep in there. And that's honestly how I felt about this one. It just was an easy listen. I listened to it in pretty much a day, maybe like 2 days, I guess. And I'm excited to see where the story continues to go. I feel like it is an exciting spot to end the like arc on, because there's 3 books that are an arc and then 3 books that are an arc. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I'm excited to see what the second arc really adds to the story, because I think it could add a lot. I do feel like books 1 to 3 kind of just read like one book. They're so easy to get through. I would recommend this for just like a light, easy read. I think it's really good for like 48-hour readathons or 24-hour readathons because it's so easy to read and easy to listen to and get the bind up. I need to get something to muddle this. Give me 1 second. This is for your meat, but it will work for my lemon. And then we're just gonna muddle all our lemon down, put some force into it. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this series just because I do like overall just like have fun with it. I missed a seed. I feel like this lemon isn't juicy enough, so I'm actually going to add another 3 slices of lemon. She did say that sometimes if she has old lemons, she uses 2 whole lemons. So I'm just gonna take one of the smaller ones. Also, you could roll it around if you want more juice. Yeah, I'm gonna work on my puzzle today after I make this, and I hope this is delicious. And then what else am I gonna do? I don't know. We're gonna finish this book, finish this vlog, maybe film my intro because I haven't done that yet. And that takes some footage. And then I don't know what else I'm gonna do. I'm still addicted to Phasmophobia. Okay, after you have that muddled, you're adding sugar. It's a disgusting amount of sugar. I'm just forewarning you. It uses a 1/4 cup of sugar, which is disgusting, but also probably why it's delicious. So we're just gonna pour that in there. And then you just add a cup of ice and then water. So let me do that off camera. Okay, now the tricky part is if this seals properly, because the next step is to shake this thing and I might get this to explode all over me. Also, look at the cute Escape the Readathon merch. I'm really scared of this. I don't know if this is sealed. Smells good. That tastes like a fair lemonade. This is heaven on a hot day in the sun. Okay, we're gonna work my puzzle now and finish my other book. I finished A Soul of Ash and Blood this afternoon. I'm not done my puzzle. I guess that'll have to hopefully get finished in my next vlog. Perfect timing because Nick and me are actually about to go look at a house to buy. We've been looking for like 2 years at this point. It's not a good market to buy a house, that's for sure. And we both live at home still, so we're not like in a rush and we're trying to find something that will really suit us. So yeah, I'm gonna go look at a house, but I did finish the book and I don't really know my star rating on this one. I really enjoyed this book. I think for sure it would have been a 4-star if I had read it during any other time, like because I really took a long time to finish this, like a full like 10 days. Like I started at the beginning of this vlog and it's the last book I'm finishing. That's not the book's fault. That's me and my burnout that made that happen and how audiobook listening wasn't really working for me. Every other book in this video I physically read, and so that was really working for me, but taking the time to find places to listen to audiobooks wasn't working versus I read physically in bed before I go to sleep and in the morning. So those were just like, I don't know, like that was just working for me and burnout and audiobooks weren't going together. So this would have been a 4-star if I'd read it earlier on because I was enjoying it a lot more earlier on than I did at the end. It could still be a 4-star. It's like a 3.5 to a 4-star. I did actually enjoy this for what it is. It made me really want to reread the series. I liked getting a flashback to everything that happened, but I also wasn't like engaged. Maybe it's not a 4-star. I think it's a 3-star. I think I can settle on a 3-star because part of what made me never want to set aside audiobook listening time was the fact that I already knew the story. I knew how it was happening. So it wasn't like engaging to listen to necessarily. It was just like background noise for me because I was never predicting. Like I'm a reader who likes to read and like predict what's about to come. We knew Cass's feelings already. We knew what happened between him and Poppy. Like the only new elements for me were like the moments with Cass and Kieran. But most of this was just literally scene for scene what happened in From Blood and Ash. And I loved From Blood and Ash. It did make me want to reread it, but I don't think it was the most engaging experience. I also am salty that you do have to read this, but also if you don't want to read this, if you want to skip this book, you could. There are 2 things I think that are somewhat important, but we are going to be discussing them in the first couple chapters of the next book. There's no way that we don't, and I feel like if you just understand that, you'll be fine. Or you could read the first couple chapters of this book and the last chapter and you'd be fine. There's one important thing that happens in the last chapter, and then there is like an element of why we get this book that I feel like could be important into the next book, but there's no way we don't discuss it in the next book. So I do feel like you could skip this. I don't think that it added much to the story, in my opinion. Like it really was just a rework of From Blood and Ash. It feels kind of lazy for me, can't lie. Yeah, 3 stars. I'm feeling 3 stars the more I talk about it. I had fun, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I don't love that it's in the middle of the series as a forced book to read. 3 stars. That does put us down to, I believe, 44 currently reading series is what we're ending this video on, which is exciting. I did make a good dent, especially considering I wasn't DNFing a lot in this video. I can make a bigger dent normally when I'm DNFing things, but as we get closer to this bottom of this list, hopefully I'm DNFing less because they're all the things I currently actually want to be reading, which is the purpose of this. I do not care how many series I'm actually reading. I could be reading 100 series for all I care, as long as they're series that I actively want to continue on in. The problem is when I have series that are there from 3 years ago that I'm probably never going to continue, and those are the ones that I want to give a chance to knock off, to get rid of. If you've missed any Reader DNF episodes. I'll put the last one on the screen for you. I'm also going to put the next TBR swap on my channel because I do have episode 3 of that coming out this month. So it's the perfect time to catch up. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you just like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a flower emoji for Poppy and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.